Hollywood didn't whisper this time, it exploded. Because when Brad Pitt finally spoke, even briefly, it wasn't gossip anymore. It was a detonation, one sentence that ripped the velvet curtain off years of silent discomfort, calculated ambition, and a name that keeps circling power like a moth to flame, Meghan Markle. And this wasn't some petty celebrity shade.
Yeah, Meghan Markle. I remember her cornering me on the set of Horrible Bosses with Jen. She talked non-stop about herself. Thought she was pitching to join a project at first, but nah, it got weird fast. So we made an excuse and split.
This was Brad Pitt drawing a line in blood red ink and saying, enough. Brad Pitt has just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the glittering underbelly of Hollywood. Meghan Markle, yeah, I remember her cornering me for a chat. She went on about herself nonstop. Thought she was angling for a spot in one of our film projects at first, but no, got weird fast, so we made an excuse and split. That wasn't a throwaway comment, that was a public execution in Hollywood language. Because when Brad Pitt, a man famous for silence, privacy, and strategic restraint, says it got weird fast, insiders hear something else entirely: boundary violation, agenda exposure, a pattern he's seen before. And suddenly, years of rumors snapped into focus. This wasn't about one awkward chat. This was about a long game, one Meghan Markle had allegedly been playing since long before royalty, Montecito, Netflix deals, or Duchess titles. Back when she was still hustling for relevance, grinding through cameos, and telling anyone who would listen that she belonged in the same league as Hollywood royalty, including and especially Jennifer Aniston. Insiders still remember the Horrible Bosses set in 2011 like it was yesterday. Meghan Markle, a blink and you miss it extra with roughly 30 seconds of screen time allegedly boasting openly, me and Jennifer Aniston, we're the same. Same talent, same status, same trajectory. Only one problem. Jennifer Aniston was already an untouchable A-list institution, and Meghan was edited down to a footnote. Sources say that humiliation didn't humble her, it infuriated her. Behind the scenes, whispers claim she trashed the project, mocked the script, criticized the crew, yet somehow still believed the industry owed her more. But Meghan wasn't reckless. She knew outright attacking Jennifer Aniston would be career suicide, so instead of burning the bridge, she allegedly marked it. Because Jennifer Aniston wasn't just a star, she was the gatekeeper. And at the center of Jennifer's world stood one man Meghan had reportedly been fixated on for years: Brad Pitt. Long before Montecito, long before Prince Harry, whispers followed Meghan through casting offices and industry mixers. She allegedly told friends, contacts, even crew members, "I want Brad Pitt." Not admiration, not fandom, intention. Insiders claim it wasn't framed as romance, it was framed as destiny. Brad Pitt wasn't a man. He was a career accelerator, but timing was brutal. Brad Pitt was married to Jennifer Aniston. Then came the Angelina Jolie implosion, the most radioactive divorce Hollywood had ever seen. And suddenly, anyone circling Brad Pitt wasn't just ambitious, they were dangerous. Jennifer Aniston allegedly heard the whispers, and she never forgot. Fast forward to 2020, Meghan Markle has a title, a prince, a global spotlight. She lands in Montecito believing Hollywood will finally kneel, and one of her first moves? An invitation to Jennifer Aniston. Sources insist it was framed as casual, friendly, harmless, but insiders saw it for what it really was: a power play, a calculated attempt to slide back into Hollywood's inner circle using royal shine and proximity. Jennifer Aniston declined. No excuses, no reschedule, just no. And that single rejection reportedly burned. Why? Because Aniston knew too much. The old whispers, the Brad Pitt fixation, the opportunistic energy. And then there was the final insult. Reports surfaced that Prince Harry himself once harbored a crush on Jennifer Aniston, allegedly storing her number, reaching out before he ever met Meghan. Coincidence? Hollywood doesn't believe in those. Insiders speculate Jennifer saw the invitation not as friendship, but infiltration. And she shut the door. Which brings us to Venice. The Venice Film Festival, where deals are made over gondola rides and images last forever. Brad Pitt arrived glowing, relaxed, powerful, unbothered. By his side, Inez de Ramon. And suddenly, whispers began swirling. A double date, a chance meeting, a casual evening. But sources close to the festival say nothing about it was casual. Meghan's camp allegedly pushed for proximity, visibility, association. Because post-royal life wasn't delivering what she'd expected. Spotify collapsed, projects stalled, the Hollywood comeback never materialized. Venice was supposed to be the reset, Brad Pitt was the shortcut. And Brad Pitt saw it coming. His radio comment wasn't random, it was preemptive. A warning shot, a way to say, I see you, I remember you, and you're not getting close. Because to Brad Pitt, this wasn't networking, it was exploitation. A woman he remembered cornering him, dominating conversations, angling for access, turning interaction into leverage. And this time, he wasn't staying quiet. Hollywood insiders say Brad moved swiftly, firm boundaries, clear messages, no shared events, no forced encounters. The double-date fantasy evaporated. Meghan was left on the sidelines while Pitt and Aniston controlled the narrative, effortlessly, wordlessly, decisively. And just like that, the scheme collapsed. But this story doesn't end here, because Venice wasn't the beginning, it was the breaking point. Hollywood reacts. Reputations shift. And Meghan's long-running strategy finally faces its most dangerous enemy yet, exposure. The silence after Venice was louder than any headline. Because in Hollywood, when doors close quietly, it means everyone already knows why. Meghan didn't get dragged publicly, she didn't get confronted, she didn't even get named directly again. She got something far worse. She got frozen out. Insiders say the moment Brad Pitt shut it down, phones stopped ringing, conversations shifted tone, invitations vanished. The industry didn't pile on, it simply stepped back. That's how Hollywood punishes ambition it doesn't trust. Not with scandal, with distance. Behind closed doors, executives reportedly began asking uncomfortable questions. Why did so many A-listers keep declining Meghan's outreach? Why did collaborations stall after early enthusiasm? Why did every comeback rely on proximity to bigger names instead of original momentum? The Venice incident didn't create those doubts. It confirmed them. Because Brad Pitt wasn't just any star. He was the final validator. If he wanted nothing to do with her, others didn't want to risk being next. Sources describe Meghan's post-Venice mood as tightly controlled, but visibly shaken. Public smiles. Private scrambling. Her camp allegedly rushed to reframe the narrative, calling missed appearances scheduling conflicts, family priorities, creative focus. But Hollywood reads between lines. They saw what it really was. A rejection without appeal. And it hit harder because Venice was supposed to be her redemption moment, the proof that she still belonged among the elite, not as royalty, but as a peer. Instead, it exposed the gap between status and acceptance. Critics began revisiting her entire Hollywood arc. The cameos, the short roles, the long pauses between projects, and a pattern emerged, one insiders have whispered about for years. Meghan doesn't climb slowly, she targets vertically. Industry connections, high-profile relationships, strategic proximity. Each relationship, each association allegedly designed to elevate her faster than talent alone could. When that latter worked, it worked spectacularly. A prince, a global platform, instant influence. But Hollywood isn't monarchy. Titles don't replace trust. And Venice proved that loudly. Brad Pitt's refusal wasn't emotional, it was professional. Insiders say he viewed Meghan not as a threat, but as a liability. Someone who could turn a private moment into a headline, a dinner into a narrative, a glance into a storyline. After years of brutal exposure, divorce wars, and media chaos, Brad Pitt's rule is simple: no drama near his peace. And Meghan, fairly or unfairly, had become synonymous with exactly that. Jennifer Aniston's earlier distance suddenly made sense. So did Angelina Jolie's silence. So did the fact that none of Pitt's inner circle moved to soften the blow. This wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a consensus. Hollywood doesn't blacklist loudly, it just agrees. What stung Meghan most, insiders say, wasn't losing Brad Pitt. It was losing access. Because Venice could have rewritten her narrative overnight. Photos, headlines, Hollywood's power couples collide. Instead, she watched from the margins as Pitt and Ines de Ramon moved effortlessly through the festival, relaxed, admired, untouched by controversy. And that image traveled. Executives saw it, agents saw it, studios saw it, and they drew conclusions. The fallout didn't stop at Venice, meetings were postponed. Early talks quietly dissolved. Projects that once sounded promising suddenly weren't moving forward. And Meghan, for the first time since stepping into fame, faced a truth she couldn't rebrand away. Hollywood doesn't know her belief. Not because she's controversial, but because trust, once lost, doesn't regenerate. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt emerged strengthened. Not louder, not defensive, just firm. Insiders say his handling of the situation earned respect, a reminder that boundaries still matter in an industry addicted to access. No tantrums, no statements, just decisive action. And in Hollywood, decisiveness equals power. As for Megan, sources say she's now recalibrating again. Shifting focus, reframing goals, publicly leaning into family and future projects. But critics argue the damage isn't about one festival, it's about exposure. Because Venice didn't create a scandal, it revealed a pattern of chasing relevance instead of building it, of forcing proximity instead of earning it, and of mistaking visibility for validation. Hollywood forgives failure, it does not forgive manipulation. And that's the line insiders say Megan crossed too many times. The irony? She didn't lose her standing because of critics. She lost it because the gatekeepers stopped opening doors. Brad Pitt didn't need to end her career loudly. He didn't need to accuse, attack, or humiliate. He simply stepped back and let the industry follow. And that's the most brutal ending of all. Because in Hollywood, when the music stops and no one asks you to dance, the message is already clear.